The year was 1962, a time of great upheaval and uncertainty. India, a nation newly independent and still finding its footing, faced the betrayal of war with China. The conflict was sudden and brutal, catching the young nation off guard. The conflict exposed India's vulnerabilities, a painful lesson etched in the icy heights of the Himalayas. The harsh terrain and the unexpected aggression left a deep scar on the national psyche. It was from this crucible of conflict and the pressing need for better intelligence that the Research and Analysis Wing, or RAW, was born. The government realized the necessity of a dedicated agency to foresee and counter such threats. Tasked with safeguarding India's interests beyond its borders, RAW operated in the shadows, its very existence shrouded in secrecy. The agency was designed to be the unseen shield, protecting the nation from unseen dangers. RAW's mandate was clear: to gather intelligence, counter threats, and protect India from the machinations of hostile actors. This included monitoring enemy movements, intercepting communications, and conducting covert operations. The agency quickly gained a reputation for its cunning and effectiveness, its agents operating in the world's most dangerous corners. These operatives were often the unsung heroes, working tirelessly to keep the nation safe. But in the late 1970s, a new threat emerged, one that would test RAW's capabilities like never before: Pakistan's clandestine pursuit of nuclear weapons. This development marked a new chapter in the agency's history, pushing it to the limits of its abilities and resources. The relationship between India and Pakistan had been fraught since their independence in 1947. The partition of British India into two separate nations was a momentous event, but it also sowed the seeds of deep-seated rivalry and conflict. 2 wars and countless skirmishes had left a legacy of mistrust and animosity. The wars of 1947 to 48 and 1965 were particularly devastating, with both sides suffering significant casualties and territorial losses. In this volatile environment, Pakistan's quest for a nuclear weapon took on a terrifying urgency. The nuclear arms race in South Asia was not just about military might, it was about national pride and survival. For Pakistan, the bomb was not just a weapon, it was seen as the ultimate guarantor of its security against a much larger and more powerful India. The military leadership in Pakistan believed that nuclear capability would deter any future aggression from its neighbor. The world watched with bated breath as Pakistan, under the leadership of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, embarked on its nuclear program. Bhutto, a charismatic and determined leader, was resolute in his vision for a nuclear-armed Pakistan. Bhutto famously declared that Pakistanis would eat grass if necessary to develop the bomb. This statement underscored the lengths to which Pakistan was willing to go to achieve nuclear capability, even if it meant enduring severe economic hardships. The international community, wary of a nuclear arms race in South Asia, attempted to apply pressure on Pakistan. Diplomatic efforts, economic sanctions, and international treaties were all employed to dissuade Pakistan from pursuing its nuclear ambitions. However, these efforts were met with denials and obfuscation. Pakistani officials consistently denied the existence of a nuclear weapons program, insisting that their nuclear research was for peaceful purposes only. Pakistan's nuclear program, hidden deep inside the country's interior, continued unabated. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly in secret facilities, driven by a sense of national duty and the desire to secure their country's future. Indian intelligence agencies were acutely aware of Pakistan's nuclear ambitions. They had been monitoring the situation closely for years, understanding the potential threat it posed to regional stability and security. They knew that Pakistan, under the cover of a civilian program, was developing the capability to enrich uranium. This dual-use technology could easily be diverted to create nuclear weapons, a prospect that alarmed Indian officials. What they lacked was concrete proof, the kind of evidence that could galvanize international pressure and potentially halt Pakistan's nuclear program in its tracks. Without this proof, it was challenging to convince the global community of the imminent threat. RAW, through its network of informants and meticulous analysis of satellite imagery, began to piece together the puzzle. They scrutinized every piece of information, no matter how small, to build a comprehensive picture of Pakistan's activities. Whispers of a secret facility near the town of Kahuta, nestled in the foothills of the Himalayas, reached RAW's headquarters. These whispers were the first concrete leads that suggested the existence of a clandestine nuclear site. The facility, heavily guarded and shrouded in secrecy, was believed to be at the heart of Pakistan's nuclear weapons program. Its location and the level of security surrounding it indicated that something significant was being hidden from the world. Penetrating the secrecy surrounding Kahuta was a daunting and formidable task. The facility was a fortress, its perimeter ringed by multiple layers of security. Conventional intelligence gathering methods would simply not suffice. RAW needed to get creative, to think outside the box and innovate. They needed to turn the tide from within the enemy's ranks. RAW embarked on a daring and risky strategy, recruiting individuals within Pakistan's nuclear establishment. These were not hardened spies but scientists, technicians, and administrators who, for reasons of conscience or perhaps personal gain, were willing to betray their country. The risks were enormous and ever-present. Exposure meant certain death, not only for the agents but also for their families and loved ones.